to Stacie's Corner. I'm Stacie. I would like you guys know that this is my third attempt of doing the second video of the day. And if my video is a little different, it's because I'm using a different device. Because my other one was causing my sound quality to be choppy. So on that note, let's continue the City of Bones. I left off where Jace, Clary, and Simon were about to head out of Luke's house. And as they're about to head out, Clary puts her hand on Jace's shoulder and is thinking, what do you say to the person that just saw the men that killed your father? And I guess you don't say anything because he shrugs her arm off and heads out the door. So Clary and Simon follow him, and as they leave, Jace locks up. Simon says, where are we going? And Jace says to the L train because it's faster than driving. And he says, really? I thought you would have a van that says Demon Hunter all over it. Clary tells him to shut up, and he says, whose side are you on? And she doesn't pay attention because she sees a scary calm come over Jace, like the ones her mom has when she's really angry or is in a bad mood. So they're in front of this broken down church with broken glass and trash all over it. And Simon says, do you really live here? And Clary is telling him that's not what you see, it's just a glamour. Because she sees this beautiful cathedral with a golden gate and lead glass windows, and she said they put these glamours on so to keep mundanes away. And he says, oh. So they head up the stairs, and as they're heading up the stairs, Jace pulls out a key. And Clary doesn't remember him locking up as they left this morning, and Jace said it's a habit that they have. So they walk in to the entryway and take the elevator up. And when they get off the elevator, they're greeted by Church the cat. Jace asks Church, where is Hodge or Alec? So the cat meows and starts heading down the hall. So Jace follows, as well as Clary and Simon. And Simon tells Clary that this place gives me the creeps. And she understands because when she woke up that morning, she felt a little bit, the place being a little alien but familiar to her. So she says, you don't really have to stay, even though she begged Jace to let him come along, because just in case he can give her the information about anything that he saw or heard at Luke's place when he was hiding in the backyard for the 3 days. So as they're walking down the corridor, Simon also asks, why is there so many rooms here? And Clary tells him it's because it's a safe haven for shadow hunters when they come, and also a research facility. He says, really? In a church? She said yes, and he says, like, that's kind of weird. And so they see Jason and the cat turn, and they turn into a kitchen. A beautiful kitchen that has all the state-of-the-art stuff. And so, Jace says, you traitor's cat, I told you where is Hodge or Alex. And as he says this, Isabel turns around and sees them and yells Jace, wailing, what have you done? Why have you brought another mundane here? And Jace said that's because we might he might have information for us. And I also saw the men that killed my father. And she said, oh, wow. So she said, since you're here, I've made soup for dinner. Would you like some? And he says, you can't cook. And she said, what did you say? I'm going to get a snack. She said, I thought so. And during this time, Simon is having googly eyes over her. And he says, I'll have some. And Jace said, why don't you just get it over with and ask her out so she can turn you down and so you can get the hurt over. And Clary tells him to shut up. Stop being mean to him just because he's not like you. And he says, what? Whatever, I'm going to go talk to Hodge. And Isabel said, are you going to tell him about the guides that killed your father? And he says, I don't know. Why don't you keep that to yourself right now? So he heads out. And Clary decides to stay and with Isabel and Simon and ask Simon if he's going to come. And he says, no, I think I'm going to stay because I'm hungry. And she looks at the green goop inside the pot, and she decides that, well, I'm going to go and talk to Hodge as well. So she heads out, and as she turns a corner, she sees Jace twirling one of his daggers. And she apologizes to him for snapping, and she said, but you also snap at me. And he says, I know I do. And she's like shocked that he acknowledges that he does. So she changes the subject and says, is Isabel a really good cook? And he says, no, her mother is. And she wants to know, why doesn't her mother teach her how to cook then? And he says, because she's more worried about becoming a good shadow hunter. And so Clary says, is Alex one? And he said, no, Isabel is better. And she wants to know also if Alec ever killed a demon before. And he says, no, he's too busy trying to protect me and Isabel. So as they're walking and talking about this stuff, they end up at a spiraling staircase where a church has led them to. And Jace says, oh, so Hodge is up in the greenhouse. And Clary says, you guys have a greenhouse? He said yes. Because he said Hodge likes to have a greenhouse and to have all the plants from Iodris, which is our home. So if we ever need anything, he can make a medicine out of the plants. So they head up the stairs and open the door. And as they open the door, she thought it was going to be a small little greenhouse, but no, this room is huge, full of wonderful plants and flowers of all sorts of different things that she's never seen before. And they follow the path to the center of the garden, and they see Hodge sitting on a bench and looking up at the sky. And as they're approaching, he turns and they ask him, are you waiting for somebody? And he says, no, I'm just lost in my own thoughts. And as he says that, he sees that they look like they've been in a fight. And they said, what happened to you guys? And Jay said, the Forsaken. And he said, the Forsaken warriors are here? And he said, no, just one of them. And then Clary butts in and says, Dorothea says there was more. And Hodge says, wait a minute, start from the beginning. So Jace tells him everything that happened that day, all except the part that he knows that the guys were the men that killed his father. And he said that Clary's mother's friend Luke goes by Luke Garway, but the followers call him Lucian Greyback. And he asked what was the follower's name, and he said one's Pegborn and Blackwell. And when he said this, Hodge turns ghostly white, and he said, that's what I was afraid of. The circle is trying to get back together. And they say, the circle? And he says, come with me. So they follow him to the library. And in the library, he's looking for something. So Jace says, I can help you. And he says, never mind, I found it. So he pulls out this leather-bound book. And he opens up the leather-bound book and reads off a saying called, the circle is supposed to be loyal and purify the bloodlines and keep the mortals safe, because that's their charge. And Clary's and Jace are wondering, where does this come from? Why does he have it? And he says, because I wrote it. And because that's what Valentine wanted. And they said, what? And they said, he said, Valentine got a bunch of shadow hunters together, and he called it the Circle. And this group of people were to get rid of the downworlders, and so they could purify the world. So, and they were going to do this during the Accords, where the downworlders were going to be defenseless during the peace treaties, and so that's what he made the Circle for, so they can do this. And the Accords happen every 15 years, because that's when the magic ends, because the magic spells that they put on the peace treaties void after 15 years, so that's why they keep doing it, so it can stay intact. And so that's when Clary realizes that, wait a minute, maybe Hodge is one of them, and Hodge can see that in her. He says, yes, I am one of them, and so is your mother. And she said, my mother would not be part of that. And Hodge says that if she might not have had no choice. And she said, why wouldn't she have a choice? And then he says, because your mother was Valentine's wife. And that's all I had today. So I hope you liked the show. If you do, hit like, hit subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.